Today is November 18th, 2021. It's 7 o'clock. This is the Planning Commission, Village of Leonard monthly meeting. I'd like to open with the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. I'd like to say I pray for health for everyone in these troubling times, and I pray that we make fair and just decisions for the Village of Leonard. Amen.
Amen.
Okay. Since our secretary is not here, I am okay to do the minutes. If I suppose I will send them to Jennifer to check and Doug to check. So that's a way that we can, I'll be the recording secretary, but someone else will sign their name to the bottom, probably Doug, but
probably Doug.
You need to check them.
But I'll double check on it. Yep.
And then, I don't know if Laura, you can't check them because you record them.
Actually, if you want, just you do them, send them directly to me, and I'll send them directly to Doug, who can send them back officially.
There you go.
Okay. So I'm going to write that down. Leslie
Yes.
to Jennifer.
I'll give it a blessing and then give it to Doug.
To Doug. We're recording. Okay. All right, so roll call. Paula Amarante has excused medical, as well as Doug Noaker. So they are excused. Leslie McKenna here. Jennifer Swack
Here.
Lori Zelnok
Here.
Okay, next item on the agenda is to approve the agenda.
I will make a motion to approve the agenda as presented.
I'll second.
Then Jennifer has made a motion to approve the agenda, and Lori has seconded that. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, approval of the last month's minutes. That should be the first thing in the pile. I looked it over. I do see one mistake. The first iteration, Lori's name was spelled wrong. The bottom, my name's spelled wrong.
Oh, Makina.
So, not a big deal,
Is
but
that a clerical that we can have fixed for the record?
Right.
We can approve them as amended.
Correct.
Just the correction. So I would make a motion to approve the meeting minutes from the October meeting with the minor corrections for spelling, for name errors.
okay.
I'll second.
Thank you. Having a first and a second, can I get it all in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. Okay. Our agenda, audience business. We have no audience members today. It's too rainy, too snowy, and icy. Okay, on to Planning Commission business. I don't know if anyone got a chance to look at it. I've been working hard on the sidewalk plan.
Color photos are really nice and helpful. Thank you for that.
So I can go quickly through any of the changes from our last iteration quickly.
Okay.
Does anyone have their copy of?
Left.
Yeah.
Right
No,
here.
this-
Let's see here. Yep, that's the whole thing.
Okay. So you can see I just changed the margins to be flush left. I put our names up here with our new designations because they were wrong on these, or it had changed. I don't think there were any changes in the first section. I think I was going through for things like periods and and things like that. I did add what we did at the last meeting, the tap and the, I think there was something else about, there was one word in here that I changed. Crosswalk safety. That was, yeah. Anyways, moving on. Implementation, I don't believe anything changed there, except I added, and likely would require a $10,000 to $15,000 project minimum. I added the words and likely would require. Then I did a little bit of jockeying. We had pre-planning phase current discussions. We're kind of past the pre-planning phase, and the bicycle stuff just jumped right out, and I added it into the paragraph for
scope.
Well, yeah, see, we had project scope up here.
Oh, it seems.
So I think it seemed redundant. So I took off the word scope and combined, there's a whole list of stuff. I think I should do a sidewalk study. I added, I did this. Because we never, in this report, we never said, we didn't tell anyone that we did a pathway study.
Gotcha.
Okay. So, Planning Commission conducted a sidewalk pathway study in the summer of 2021, the findings which are included in this report. The following is a list of possible actions in order to build new sidewalks. Trees and brush may need to be removed. Sidewalks may be required to go around trees or trim trees. Some retaining walls and engineering done to flatten hills. There may be required drainage plans and curbs for hills. Crosswalks and options for ADA may be required. Facilitate options for bicyclists sharing the road. Example, North Rochester Road. The roadside is wider to accommodate bicycles. So I took a list that just started with the word, maybe this, maybe that, maybe this, maybe this, and I made it into sentences.
Yes.
So I have 2 front pages, but that was my mistake. Okay. So then it went to identify problems and obstacles. I moved it, so I could fit the pictures in.
Yeah.
I think I didn't change. Oh, I added after intersection corners must be ADA compliant with raised dots. I added identify disjointed interrupted sections because we talk about it all throughout, but we never say
Identify it.
right. So then continued maintenance. I don't know that I changed anything there.
It was areas of concern, and you added the continued maintenance. So it is just cleaner.
Oh, okay.
Yep, definitely cleaner.
Gotcha.
Looks good.
Projects. Where did that go? Oh, that went further up. Yeah, I moved this projects that was in the middle.
Yep.
I moved it way to the top because it kind of went with our goal where we complete a network of sidewalks from east to west, north to south, coming from the center. It seemed way more important than when it was sitting down here at the bottom. So then, where did I get the, so I did that, and that. So now we're at the phases. Since we're already past fall of 2021, I went ahead and jumped it to spring of 2022. So I took out what it said, where it said first year. I just needed the space, and I mean, obviously it's the first year. I did smaller projects and repairs. So what I showed here are the small projects. So these are from the pictures from our bike ride, and I think a couple other photos from Google or one was from Doug. So it just illustrates, you know, here's a giant gap, here's
This is
a
what we're
giant...
talking about.
This will be much nicer for Village Council to take a look at
Right,
too.
the disjointed, where it's like sidewalk, and then
Mhm.
where's this weird thing, and then look at how bad those pieces
I was gonna say, it
of
really
concrete
sends
are.
it home in case they just thought that we were
Right.
like, we really want to get this
Dreaming
done.
land.
Right,
Right.
exactly, that
Right.
kind of needs to be addressed.
So I identified each of those photos where they needed an address, with an address, and so that covers the smaller projects and repairs. So then you go to the next page, and it's also smaller projects continued, and I said that at the top. And I added the first year up in there, because I had room there. So, coming down here, all we had in our thing was like repair 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, you know, so I
Right.
put them in from our discussions and from our survey. Phase 1, large project, or I guess we can talk about what I guess I just took the text right from those two. Connect Leonard with signed waivers. That's the complete text we had. Nothing changed there. Is yours red? No, I changed this right here.
Oh, okay.
That was
See it.
I looked, it's 20, 25 feet. I
Okay.
kind of Googled it, but that was a reminder for me in my copy. I gave you guys
Gotcha.
print corrected versions. So, one thing I did think about was that when we did the survey, we didn't know that the church owned the 2 properties that are conjoining there. So, when they did their driveway, I'm surprised, or I wonder why they didn't do their own sidewalk. But the unique capability here is we can talk with the pastor there and probably get volunteers when it's time to do that.
Yeah.
And we probably should check to make sure that they want to do that.
Yeah, maybe they
Or-
didn't put it there for a reason.
Yeah,
I don't know, it doesn't.
but it's
Probably
just,
a permit thing.
Oh,
Something silly. You know.
right. So that's just, you know, going forward. So the large project, I added the map to show what the village, once we got the grant or donation, they're hoping to extend using the funds to connect it to Bond Street. But we at least can definitely do in front of the nature park. So, I don't think, flip this now. Volunteer project, trying to find where I got that text from. I had a proofreader look at this and they thought, what are you doing going behind the Leonard Market? Says it's not your property. I said, well, okay, it's not. It's adjacent to the Leonard.
oh,
So that's why that changes there.
okay, great.
And that could be, you know, that's just a funny little thing. Kind of a history maker. Phase 1 large project continued. Connect the sidewalk from town at Division Street to the Pollyant Trail. So that would be, you know, going the other way from the trail. And I've shown, you know, the gaps here and that they need ADA. Kind of mixed this page together with calling out the fact that we want to use ADA money to get some more ADA spots completed. So I put the ADA picture there, kind of, this goes with phase 1, it's got,
It helps long-term clarification too.
yeah, so then the next picture kind of shows, okay, that's where a sidewalk could go. And I show it going right through a drain, which it can't do, but it just kind of looked good the way the picture was going, so.
Now, which one is going, where's the
The
drain?
forest south, that's a,
Okay.
I think that one right there is a drain.
Oh,
That's, yeah,
So the sidewalk would have to go
around it.
and that's why we have that other
oh, I see it now. I thought it was a rock.
description.
Yeah.
Okay.
There is one rock, but, you know,
I thought it was a second.
we don't have the measurements for that, and
No.
it would be staked out, and they would just
Right.
go around it,
Right.
but. So, I identified, and then the next picture down with the little arrow and some more sidewalk, the same picture from the other direction. It's like that's from looking, this is Forest looking
South.
south, and this is Forest looking
Okay.
north from a different perspective, but it's the same piece of sidewalk.
Oh, okay.
So then, I guess this must have been an ADA project here with the arrow
It
at the
looks like it's
bottom.
disconnected too, you can't get,
You can't get to it, right, right,
so it's both.
right, it's both. So then, street signs, I added a whole new page to talk about our street signs.
Beautiful.
Since all we had here was order street signs, 1, 2, 3, 4.
Right.
Well, there's actually 9. Now, this would be a discussion. If you look at 5 and 6, when you go through these streets, if you're a driver looking either way, and you look on Division Street there's no street sign. So you don't know. But if you look across the other side of Rochester Road, there is a street sign.
Gotcha.
But because they're so tiny, you just don't see it, you know?
Right.
So the same instance would happen if you look at the picture of Whitehead and Elmwood, the middle top picture. When you're standing like anywhere on Whitehead, you can see that sign because the signs are this big instead of this big.
Yeah, those tiny black and white ones.
So it would be up to us or the council, or however we get to that point, is do you leave the white Forest and Division sign that's on the right margin? Do you leave that there and put one on the other side of the street, or do you remove the other one? You know what I mean? It's like, if you're going for a consistent look, you'd have to remove the old ones.
Right.
So, but we may not need to put 2 there because they're so giant. Now, we're lucky that our streets most streets aren't named the same on both sides of the street.
Gotcha.
I don't know what your thoughts
I
on
would,
that.
like you said, I would probably take number 6 out and add number 5 consistent to the road itself.
Right.
And then that just goes into the historic section of Leonard.
Right, well, I've got,
Inside here.
I did add something at the bottom here. If we're taking out 1, 2, 3, there's 3 signs that we could potentially, hold an auction, or people can put their name in and we just draw, and whoever lives on Forest might like a Forest sign, right?
Yeah.
But it's just got to be random so it's fair.
Yeah.
Or it could be bid,
Yeah.
if you do a bid war or a raffle.
They could hang in here somewhere.
They could.
We've talked about, for Strawberry Festival, doing like a silent auction fundraiser thing, maybe tweaking things a little bit. That might be something,
So
if
they
we
could
get
be
to
part
that
of
point,
that.
that we could, if we were to get a large amount of people,
Right.
we'd bring more money in, but the money would go obviously to whatever fund you wanted it to go to. But that might be a thought, is to, the more people
Right, so-
we get.
That's a good idea. We can keep that,
It's the next festival, so.
donations to the money raised can go to the festival or to pay for the signs.
Or to pay for the signs, and we would-
Whatever,
Right.
It's just, I wouldn't throw them away. I wouldn't say, here, you can have these, because
No, I mean, at that
People
point, I
would
just
want
put
it,
them on
yeah.
eBay or something, you know?
so, some of the signs are so bad you can't read them. I took the picture, the top one, you can't even read that.
It's pretty bad.
And then, so if you're doing those, we should do all 9,
Yep.
I think. Maybe 5 and 6 could be combined. Do
But
we
they
want
should
to
at
make
least-
that call ourselves, or?
I think it should be a recommendation, but I don't know.
It's expensive cost.
Because you can see it right on there.
Oh, no,
5
I
and
mean,
6.
I just don't know. I guess we should get a price
Right.
and
Right.
find out where we're at and figure out.
So we'll leave it in there with the duplicity.
Our recommendation would be to replace it,
Right.
period.
Yeah,
So it would be cohesive for the village.
mhm.
So then, let's see. I don't know which corners to put them on, if that's a thing.
I don't know if there's rules that when you put up
I
your
think-
signs, they have to be in specific corners, I guess.
Mike might know that because he's put
Right.
up many signs, so I just kind of put them there.
Yeah.
And it's not like in stone because there could be a tree right there,
Right.
you know, it's like,
Yeah.
I didn't have time to go and check on all those little specifics.
Nope, they just all need them.
So, I think I illustrated the point. And then, you know, do the new signs have to go on? They're kind of like a I-beam stick. It's not a round pole.
Right.
Seeing that.
But they look nice. It's just, I don't know that we can put the new signs on the old poles.
They might have to come out because this one's
It's rusty, yeah, they're both,
rusted.
two of them are rusted, three of them
Right,
are
they
rusted.
look
Those are
pretty
probably
bad.
steel and maybe the new ones are aluminum. Maybe that's what
Right.
they use for those new ones.
Yeah.
So that's, you know,
Make it official.
we're there. We just gotta get some kind of budgetary money to do something, you know? It's like, so next I went to phase 2. Now I adjusted the years. I stepped it because there's so many things on these other pages and the big sidewalk pieces. I took it to 2024-25. It just seemed like I doubt that we'd get there that quick. But, you know, it's open to discussion.
It's a living document, so it gets changed.
It can be adjusted. So phase 2. Phase 2, continue sidewalk. Where's that text at? Oh, that was part of, could that be why I thought there was too many in one year? It was supposed to be a different phase. Connect. Where did this text go? Continue sidewalk westbound on Elmwood. Oh, I put that in phase 1.
Okay.
Connect sidewalk. So maybe I just, in error, put it in the wrong spot. Phase 2. Where's the text? Connect existing sidewalk. The distinctive design. Did I drop out a paragraph?
Or did you just change the wording in a way that it just doesn't identify? Is it,
New sidewalk from distinctive design.
Everything in there looks accurate.
Great crosswalk on Elmwood. But where did it go? New sidewalk from distinctive design. Find it, it's on the top. New
Yeah,
sidewalk westbound on Elmwood.
You just added more detail.
I did.
From distinctive design to top a hill on the side of Elmwood, begins at the distinctive
Westbound.
design, continues north of 205, correct.
Okay, yeah.
Create a crosswalk at some point. Yep, everything looks good.
Did I say less obstacles? Oh, yeah.
Yeah, you did.
I took those 2 paragraphs and I mashed them,
Yep.
but I think it reads right.
No, it does, because this is where we can't really, we would like it to be here, but now there needs to, now you need engineering to determine what can actually happen and where.
Right.
So,
Phase 3, 5 to 6 years. I didn't put the dates in. 2025 to 2020, I can add that. To 2026, right?
okay.
Okay, I just missed that. All right, extend the existing, I broke that apart, put a photo in there. The one paragraph is, and then here. This is where the bike path begins. If you see the little arrow where it says wide shoulder ends here where curb starts, that's where, like, if you're a bicyclist in that wider section, you can't ride there anymore because there's gravel there and there's a gap. Like, the curb makes you go like this on your bike.
Gotcha.
So we because there's trees there, we could either find out where 33 feet is over there, or actually, you know, kind of put a sidewalk right at the edge, just at that hill portion. This is just an engineering decision.
Right.
So,
Is there a rule on the space between the curb and the sidewalk? I'm wondering, like, can
there
you?
could be, and I don't know.
I'm wondering, only because this has a wider shoulder than we're used to anywhere in the whole village. But it
Right.
also now creates it where you can only go so far because there's this tree here.
Right.
And some other obstacles that it's getting.
So it's almost like, is it a problem if it was road, curb, bike path?
Right, I
With no
feel
grass.
like any city
Right.
I've ever been in, I've never seen a sidewalk really close to the curb.
Yeah, I have, so,
Okay,
yeah.
okay, so it's like, it's an okay thing?
It's a
Okay.
It
thing,
must be okay.
Okay.
but I don't know what requirements and what years that were,
This is true.
you know, they were put there. and-
Oh, if it was grandfathered in
Right.
because it was already
And
there.
they're scary. They're scarier because
To be
cars,
that close.
cars could, you know, without the color difference, cars could go up there.
And would probably park on it too.
Maybe, yeah.
Oh, you know,
So
that's
think
something
about
I
that.
hadn't thought about. You're right.
Parking up on.
They might think it's just more of a paved shoulder.
So,
I mean, it'd be dumb,
but it would only be a short distance to get us to the crosswalk.
Okay. Yeah.
So then phase 4, we're kind of weak.
No, that's,
You know, it's
there's
like,
a lot to be done in these first 3 phases, so.
Mm-hmm.
so I don't know if we want to flesh this out anymore or just leave it as is.
I would probably leave it as is and revisit as the time goes
I
here.
think so too.
And as projects are complete.
It's
This
a
is-
work in project.
Yeah, this is awesome.
Process, but
Uh-huh.
at least phase 1 is something that we could see happening like right away. At least there's a plan.
Right.
There was never a plan.
Right.
So
You know?
This is beautiful.
Yeah, really.
So-
Well done, Leslie.
The next section is sidewalk pathways plan maintenance ongoing. And I called out some offenders here. No, we just need, I added gravel. Is gravel spelled wrong?
Nope.
It looked, for some reason, it looks funny to me. I added gravel cleanup, you know, like, there's not a picture of that, but on the last page, you saw the gravel, the 2 pages ago, you know, where the, it's in the gully,
Yep.
right there. That happens just from rain and hard washout. So, I called out the reminder letter to residents to edge and remove grass clumps growing in their sidewalks in front of their homes or property, trim trees, pull weeds. Then drainage, I put in what Doug and his wife did.
Oh my gosh.
It's just an example of how if you keep it clean, look how much better it looks.
Yeah.
But it still needs work.
It's just crazy that we
Yes.
didn't know there was any sidewalk there. I mean,
Right.
It's just ridiculous how overgrown that got.
Right. So
I
this
never would
would,
have thought they were sidewalk there.
this would be an ADA site. I should add I'll add a need ADA here.
You did.
I did? Where?
Yep. Right next to the picture before.
Sure, before, show me. Oh, up there, yeah,
Yep.
okay.
Got it.
Okay, so that's fine then. It's okay.
You're ahead of yourself.
Okay. Then the next thing is the map. And we should give that to Jennifer.
Okay.
Because somebody needs to help me with, my question was the dots.
Okay.
So, hand her that thing.
I've got them all.
Oh, you got it, one at a time.
Yep.
So,
Do you want me to just go through this then and just double check?
yeah.
All your stuff is,
Do you want to do that
I'll just do it off.
on,
that way it's not-
offline?
Yeah.
And let me know on the phone.
Yep.
Because I made a few color changes and then I added disconnected as pink.
Okay.
And the reds and pinks are hard to tell.
Right.
Yeah, they really are.
Can you circle can the pink be like have a black surround? or
Yeah, I
anything?
could do that, yeah.
That way it's a little.
I'll do that.
And I'll go through and just double check it so they don't see if there's anything that has to be added, because we
Right,
more than
no.
likely covered everything, but,
I added like crossable crosswalks.
okay.
And then I identified the circles are the phases. Even though there's scattered phases of the pink dots around. See if it makes sense to you. I added a few trees, but, and a couple addresses
Yep.
of the pictures that were called out. Not every address, but I was starting to get map haze. I was like,
How many addresses would you want? I mean, you have the relevant addresses in.
I think
You have-
so,
You have
yeah.
what is needed, but you can kind of figure out the rest of them.
right,
They don't need
right.
to,
It's easy to do on Google.
right, and they don't need to clutter the rest of them.
Right. Now,
Or maybe we could go purple instead of pink. Because I'm wondering here too, like I'm trying to look at this little corner, I'm thinking, that's an Act 51 and that's a disconnected sidewalk, but
sometimes
They
they
look-
both.
they look so close, it's really
Right.
hard to see. Yeah, because look at,
The
okay.
easiest to do what you said is circle them. I can make the pink ones a little bigger and circle them with a black outline.
Or Exum or something, something that was.
Right.
Make a square or something, yeah.
So, I'd like someone to check it for me.
Okay, I will check it.
Now, the reason I added in here 16 residences in Rosie, 5 residences in Porter, there could be 7, I couldn't tell by the map. There were like 9 structures, but it looked like they might have been garages belonging to this house, and
Yep.
so
You want to check on that one? You want me to double check that one too?
if that's something you can easily do, that'd be great.
I believe I can.
Because I struggled with it. I was like, that looks like it's a garage to that house. And then there's a house way back on that street.
On Porter, yeah.
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 It looks like it's a nice house.
Is it?
See, there's
Is it
Doug,
this-
there's Judy, there's that other couple, and there's the people at the end. I feel like there's 4.
Oh, there's definitely 5.
Are there 5? Let me see.
But I don't know. I mean, in terms of, there's a lot of structures.
I
Yeah.
can pull them up
Okay.
and just see how many
So,
people pay taxes.
that's a good one.
All right.
If you see anything, and you might see, I changed like, it said potential sidewalk. Everywhere's a potential sidewalk.
Okay.
But it's like a potential sidewalk that we are going to tackle.
Yep.
So then I changed some of the ones in the outlying edges, like by the school and at the end of the villages, as future planning.
Yep. And they're clear.
Mm-hmm.
So-
That part is very clear.
Okay. Except, oh, I guess that around Division and East, that is future too.
And you did have a potential sidewalk also. So you've got existing, potential, and future.
Right. Now the little spot,
Because the reds are kind of like far out.
I guess it's pretty easy to see. Now the reason the Rosie Drive, Frederick Lane, and Porter are double lined is private people own to the center of the road. So that's why the roads are double lined like
On the
that.
property.
The property goes to the center of the road. So,
And those are areas that technically this plan cannot address.
correct. But once they get to the road, they have every right to get to town.
Yes.
So
Oh,
getting-
yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Getting a sidewalk to them
Yep.
is, you know,
Absolutely.
still desirable.
Yep.
It didn't take too long to do, longer than I thought, but
Sure.
not too bad.
No, it's really easy
It's-
to understand what you're
yes.
trying to say. I think it was well thought out, particularly with the existing potential and future. Yeah, I think you did a really good job.
Okay,
Yeah.
so next, we already reviewed this document. I think the only thing I changed was,
This is cool.
I tried to make the lines thicker on this, on the bottom, the landings, and they are on the screen. When they print skinny.
small.
Yeah. I added, I took some text. The text that's here is from part of the report. Not sure where, but it made sense to put it here because it talks about the look of the sidewalks and the width of the sidewalks and the, transitioning and stuff. That was the paragraph that belonged there. Because this paragraph used to just be part of the report.
Okay.
So I put it right in here with the construction guidelines.
Nice.
Summary is the same. I don't think I changed anything there. Nothing changed on page 12. And that's it.
Oh, that looks great.
So it's ready to go to the village council after we make these.
Which wouldn't happen until January anyway.
It can go electronically. I had talked to Mike, and
So just give it a
or
once
I
over.
can print it too and put it in their mailboxes. I have the choice.
No, just electronically.
Just electronic.
Yes, there's
Yeah.
no reason to kill trees.
Well, it's nice to have it in your hand though, isn't it?
It is.
It is, but I think if we need to print it in January when council reconvenes,
Right.
I would go that way. There's a lot of people not checking their mailboxes
Oh, yeah,
right now
like the
because there's no
holiday.
holiday
Okay.
meetings.
Let me write on here.
That you wouldn't have to just
You
go
know,
to the
and-
extra effort, Leslie, because I know
Right.
it's,
And if you send electronically and we just have a copy at the meeting, might even be more than enough too,
Uh-huh.
for people to review.
Well, it's not hard once you got one to make,
Yeah, it's just
it wasn't,
whatever's easiest.
it printed a lot faster than the master plan did. Okay, so I think we've already voted on this to send it to the council at our last meeting.
We're just waiting.
Let's
for
look
the-
at let's look at our minutes from last time. I don't want to re-vote on something we voted on already. This was just like a final, unless we didn't even vote because it's just a project that we're going forward with. We had a public hearing.
It said under sidewalk discussion, he doesn't have anything about a vote there.
Ah, okay. Well, I'll make a motion then with changes discussed thereof. Let's forward the sidewalk survey plan to the village council via email by December 1st. November 30th.
Okay. I second that.
Okay, let me get back to my agenda here. So we did the sidewalk. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay. By November 30th. Okay. Oh, I didn't, that's the bylaws. Okay. Okay, oh, this is for you then, Lori. I think this is all yours. I'm not sure.
Oh, okay, yep, that's me. Thanks.
Or did I just give you my copy of the minutes? No, that's this right here. Okay. That down, and this down. All right, this document, the next one, it looks like this. This is a survey that Mike was using for the last attempt at fixing a lot of the sidewalks. I just wanted you to have it on record. I think it would be a good idea for us to revisit it the way he did it. Just kind of maybe next summer walk around and see if these still exist the way they are or if they've been fixed.
Yeah.
So this is going forward a good way to track the sidewalk changes. Now I just don't know if we should include it with our report or not. Just this is part of our ongoing work
No,
for
it
next
doesn't-
summer.
It doesn't, yeah, this looks like more of a maintenance issue than it does planning.
So, but it could identify, I mean, we kind of randomly picked some spots, but I suppose every year this should be done, you know?
Right.
Because every year there can be damage. But keep it on file with your sidewalk report.
Okay.
There's the second one, which I couldn't find. All right, now, moving on to the bylaw discussion. We've got, let's see, four documents to put in front of you. What has happened is Mike, the conflict that arose from having a secretary and a liaison to the village council as part of the planning commission raised in his mind the fact that there could be other conflicts of interest. So he was looking at the planning bylaws, and he contacted the lawyers and wanted to have them draft up something in concert with other villages who have had to update their bylaws regarding conflict of interest. So he put me in touch with the village lawyer, which Phil has retired, and now it's I want to say Haiti. You must hang on. Catherine, I think her name is. I gotta find the piece of email anyway. So, that might be important. Yeah, her name is Catherine Tomasic. So, I read it over because it was initiated by him, so I really looked it over carefully. So I want to go over with you guys what has gone on in here. So if you look at the blue copy, this is the working document that the lawyer and I have been working on. The first paragraph is what we have currently. So no member of the commission shall participate in any case in which he/she has financial or personal interest in the property or action concerned or will be directly affected by the decision or has or believes he/she has any other conflict of interest as defined by applicable law. No member of the staff or the commission or any agency serving the commission shall prepare or present argument or reports or attempt to influence decisions of the commission in any case in which he or she has similar interest. I felt that covered it. It's up to us to decide if we want to add the language, but you get the legal people like to give you a lot of explanation on what your the definition of conflict of interest. So I guess.
So all we had was this paragraph was all we had. This didn't exist.
Just that first paragraph is all we had.
So now this is the attorney.
Right.
Gives us 3 pages of wording.
Well, some of it I added to clarify. The red sections are my edits.
Okay.
So, and I did make a very important catch and edit, which I kind of was proud of. There is a law, which is, it's called, and it's referenced in here.
The Planning Act?
The Planning Enabling Act. It's interesting to read. I didn't know it existed. I will send you guys a copy. But it just talks about how planning commissions are set up, you know, how you pick a secretary, how you pick a, you know, president pro tem for your village council, the whole shebang is in there. I gave you she sent, it starts with the bill and all that, but you get down to page, it starts at the beginning with the definitions of what each thing is and what, but the lawyer pulled out the section that pertained to us, and that's the Michigan Enabling excerpt that she's printed out here. So when you read this whole thing over, the part that talks about conflict of interest
Is highlighted?
is highlighted. Number 9, when it comes to the misfeasance and nonfeasance. So I guess what I want to do is, would it be best if I read it out loud and we just looked at it and you decide if you agree with the changes, or and then we can discuss what we think of it. We as a planning commission can elect to not change it at all. We could change the wording to our liking or what fits, but within the law, it has to be, you know, checked and approved by the lawyer. So I guess I'll read it and we'll just comment paragraph by paragraph. I'll explain anything as I go along. Given the members of the commission are representatives of important segments of the community, it is inevitable that conflicts of interest may arise. So the strike through is what I changed. The commission recognizes that the performance of its duties matters will be presented and considered upon which one or more members may have or be perceived by others as having a conflict of interest due to economic, personal, or other reasons, the existence of which will or may be perceived by other members of the commission or general public as having the potential for influencing the member's unbiased consideration and vote in his or her official capacity. Now we struck through interfering with because influencing is interfering. It's the same thing.
Redundant, yeah.
To me it was redundant, and the lawyer agreed. Unless otherwise specifically defined with the Planning Enabling Act 33 of 2008, or as specifically defined elsewhere in these bylaws, a conflict of interest shall constitute a situation in which a member is in a position to derive personal benefit or pecuniary, we changed it to financial gain. It was more congruent what we said before, and it's more simple language to most people.
Right.
Gain from actions or decisions made in their official capacity, or in which a member has financial or personal interest in the property or action concerned, which will be directly affected by actions or decisions that member makes in his or her official capacity. So, I can catch my breath. No member of the commission shall participate in any matter in which he or she has a conflict of interest. No member of the staff or the commission or of any agency serving the commission shall prepare or present arguments or reports or attempt to influence decisions of the commission in any case in which it has been determined that he/she has a conflict of interest. I thought that made it clearer than saying similar interest. Because
Now you don't want to scratch out the he, she, put they, like you did up above.
it happened some other times too, but when I changed it, it changed the tense.
It didn't sound right. Okay.
Yeah, it changed, and I did. I was gonna go through and change them all, and then I was like, well, now the tense has changed. I gotta change this word to this word.
Okay.
It has to be past or present, and it got, so I went, okay, I'll change that one and leave the rest the same.
Gotcha.
It is the policy of the commission to require and encourage a full and accurate disclosure of such conflicts or potential conflicts at the earliest possible time, so that the commission may determine whether a member may participate and vote or should be disqualified in the matter being considered. They had their from, and I thought, let's just make it simpler.
Yeah.
Consistent with this policy, to the extent it does not violate a privilege or confidence, each member has a duty to disclose any conflicts or potential conflicts and the relevant facts to the commission at the first meeting at which the matter creating the potential conflict is being considered. The member's disclosure shall include an indication of whether the potential conflict disclosed will. Now, I broke this into 1, 2, and 3 because this was one sentence. And it took a long time to figure out what in the world that sentence meant. So, will interfere or influence his or her consideration and vote in any way that might place that member in a position to derive a personal benefit or financial gain. The fiduciary word was there again.
Yeah.
Whether he or she has a financial or personal interest in the property or action concerned which will be directly affected by the decision made, and whether the member wishes to be disqualified from the decision and voting. After a disclosure of potential conflict is made by a member and discussed by the commission, the member in attendance at the meeting shall decide by motion, the members, in attendance at the meeting shall decide by motion and majority vote whether that disclosure constitutes a conflict of interest. Majority vote finding a conflict of interest shall disqualify the disclosing member from further participation in that matter to which the conflict, I think it should say arose.
I agree.
Right, because it's already after the disclosure. It's
Right.
already come up, so.
It could be, or to which such conflicts arise.
Correct.
I think I like that.
Matter to which such.
Because it keeps it in the present tense, not in the past tense.
Conflicts, conflict. They're talking about the conflict that already happened. Majority of funding.
Potential conflict.
I think there's only one conflict.
There's only one conflict, so it's not to the net. In that matter to which, let's just say the conflict arose, right? They're already talking about it happened already, right?
After the disclosure of potential conflict is made. So it did already happen.
Okay.
So it should be arose. To which the conflict arose.
Okay.
Okay. Conduct whereby a member fails to disclose his or her conflict or potential conflict. Now, if there's a conflict, I got real sticky with this potential conflict.
Well, I guess a potential conflict would be somebody
It can be anything.
ahead of time.
Conduct whereby a member fails to disclose his or her conflict. I mean, if you're going to have a conflict, if you say there could be a conflict of interest, it's all right. You're already knowing it's potential.
Because this is true. It already. Well.
I don't know.
It's inclusive to have both.
So, do you think potential should be left in?
Yeah, I think whereby a member fails to disclose his or her conflict, which would be existing, or potential conflict, which would be in the future.
Okay, I can believe it.
It's inclusive.
Okay, here's my big find. the law here says may, not shall.
It's a big difference.
Oh, serious difference.
Very big difference.
Or who votes on a matter despite having a conflict of interest may be grounds for removal of that member from the planning commission for misfeasance, malfeasance, or nonfeasance in office in accordance with section 15, number 9 is the specific of the Michigan Planning Enabling Act. I had to read the whole thing to find 9, and then she sends me back an email saying, okay, it's 9. In accordance, no, I added the red parts. In accordance with the law, the Planning Commission hereto defines the procedure for resolving a conflict of interest matter below. So then it goes, any questions or claims that a member has failed to disclose a potential conflict of interest shall be presented to the Commission at a meeting within a reasonable time determined by the Planning Commission. After, because that's arbitrary.
Which would be different, yeah.
Right, somebody could say, well, it's a reasonable amount of time, and we say, no, we're going to determine, after the conflict or potential conflict, so that goes with what's above, so I can put it back in, was discovered or at any meeting when the matter alleged to create the conflict is considered by the Commission. If such questions or claims are made, then after the member with the alleged conflict has had the opportunity to respond, the Commission shall resolve the claim and the member's voting rights by motion and majority vote, whether to permit or disqualify the member from further participation and voting in the matter. The remaining participating members of the Commission in that matter may consider invalidation of any approvals given as a consequence of a vote in which the conflicted member participated, and may, by motion and majority vote, invalidate prior approvals. The review and vote on said matter anew, and review and vote on said matter anew without participation from the disqualified member. So, that being said, my last communication with her was at 5:30 today, and the next two sentences speak to prior votes, how we want to handle them in terms of the consequence of a conflict of interest.
Because if you had the vote go through and you had, let's say it was 50-50 or just barely passing, it would make a difference if one person was disqualified. But if you had an all in favor,
right,
it may or may not.
Right. So that's what I wanted to address here. Now, she sent back. Let's see. Where's her card? She said that. It's our discretion to whether we want to handle a procedure and how. It's the PC's up to us to create our own bylaws and transact our business. So just let me know, and I'm happy to add the preferred language. Add or omit the preferred language. So all these changes aren't really going to change the meaning. It's just, we're
just clarifying it.
Yeah, clarifying. So the next section is, she said, she can add those two sentences back in. She says they're covered above, but I think this clarifies it more. The remaining participating members of the Planning Commission may alternatively also determine that if a conflict of interest or influence has not been determined by the Planning Commission by a majority vote, a prior matter's vote will stand and no revote is required. If a prior conflict of interest or influence is determined by majority vote by the Planning Commission, regarding prior matters votes. A prior vote will stand only if the vote still maintains a majority without the disqualified voting member's prior vote, and if the Planning Commission determines that they have not themselves been influenced.
Okay.
I think it clarifies it much more.
Yeah.
You know, it's not just out there like, oh, what do we do? Oh no.
Right.
Well, this tells you what to do.
Right.
And there's no question, you know, it's in our bylaws. You
Yeah.
should,
Right.
if it was a majority vote, so-and-so's vote is canceled, it's still 4-1,
Right.
you know? So,
Yes.
okay. Phew. Right. So the documents here, this is what the draft she sent me back before 5:30 looked like. And it had not those two sentences down here. So that's why,
The black one is kind of out. This black copy is,
correct, these
Not
two are not valid, but I just wanted to include them if you wanted to see
Gotcha.
clean versions.
gotcha.
So the blue one is what,
Will get updated.
right. So, we do have a quorum. If we agree that this is the verbiage, we could make a motion on your, you know, if you decide that we want to change it, or we could leave, our choices are we could leave it the way it was, we can change it with the changes we spoke of here, based on her saying it's all legal.
Right, gotcha.
So
she's gonna go back through and she's gonna double check whatever.
Are we going to be adopting this as it has been presented here? Is that what we're looking to do?
that's our choice is that or do nothing. It's either,
I mean, the work has been done, so I
Right.
really have no issues with
and we paid
adopting
with
this.
it, paid for it.
Right.
And the only thing that helps is it kind of spells out what we're supposed to do now.
Correct.
I
The
think
one
it,
paragraph does
I think it adds, it doesn't subtract, but it is sure
yeah.
wordy. So,
conflicts of interest get kind of crazy, so.
right. Phew,
Do you need a motion?
I think I'll take a motion.
I would make a motion, or I will make a motion to adopt the amended, what is it, Article 7, Conduct of Commission Members and Staff, as we reviewed and revised tonight.
Per lawyer's approval.
And then, yes, with the lawyer's approval.
I'll second your motion.
Okay. Having heard a motion and a second, can I get it all in favor?
Aye.
Aye?
Aye. Okay, with changes. With changes discussed.
The changes discussed in the attorney's approval, lawyer's approval.
Okay, that sounds good. I'm glad you helped me with that. Oh my gosh, that was a big one.
Well, it's just funny that, how long has Leonard been a village? And this is now coming up?
Yeah, interesting.
Modern problems for modern times.
Right. Okay, village council meeting update.
Oh, December meeting cancellation.
Oh, sorry, thank you.
You bet.
Since we have, we did the bylaws change, I don't think we need to have a December meeting. Do you guys?
I think the sidewalk plan is far enough. This needs a blessing from the attorney anyhow.
Right.
There's nothing new for us to discuss before the beginning of the year. Yeah.
Correct.
So I have no issues with canceling our December meeting.
Okay.
Do I?
How about a motion?
I will make a motion to cancel the December meeting.
I will second your motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Village council meeting update. Who wants to talk about the Christmas stuff? We all know there's December 3rd, is that the date?
December 3rd, 5:30 to 9. The streets will be closed, the streets will be closed around that time, but at least 10 vendors in the streets. Santa will be here. Inside this building will be the gingerbread houses displayed. Outside of the building, we have, there was another vendor that will be here giving chocolate and stuff, hot chocolate.
There's gonna be hot chocolate, and then there's gonna be carolers, Oxford Middle School Band Orchestra will play.
A band will be outside for an hour. I think they might even do it. They caroled last year from their pickup truck, and they might do the same thing. If they could pick up truck in here, honestly. But bird barrels outside. It'll definitely be different. Tree lighting, I believe, was at 7.
That's nice.
I think the event actually starts at 6:30. I think it's 6:30 to 9, but the road will be closed at 5. Vendors come at 5:30.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. The house at 4850, is that the name? 4850?
4285.
4285.
Our vacant house there is secure. Somebody
good.
was there trying to board it up. I'm not quite sure who it was. It sounded
Okay.
might have been somebody addressed by the current owners. There are some things that the council, that the village could do, but they're not cheap.
Right.
They're not timely, and they may not be worth it. So as long as the structure stays safe and
Why is it, could the property be for sale? I mean,
the company who owns the property owns hundreds of properties across the states. In multiple cities, they have properties exactly like this one. They are non-owner occupants, they're not around, they have nobody locally to care for them, and they don't care. The taxes are also not paid. So
how does that company make money if it's not doing something with its property?
keep in mind, I believe they had contract that, so they must have taken some sort of down payment. I believe that house was around $20,000 to $35,000 when it was up for sale. So they would have taken in money, gotten rent every month, and then they kick people out. They get to keep all that. So now you do it again. So you take all the money and then rent it out, and then you do it again, and the house is worth next to nothing to you. You don't care. You haven't done any improvements on it. You don't pay anything. So it's just a moneymaker. It's unfortunate that it sits like it does, but as long as it's, you know, you can't really touch it unless it's a problem. Right now it's okay. So
Okay. Can I get a motion to adjourn? I'll make the motion.
there we go.
I'll second your motion.
Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, it is 8:09. All right, thank you.